Hello, I'm Chris McNeil. I'm working through the Harry Cider's Cider Varsity Edition case. This is the March 2025 MECC case. So let's just dive right into it. We'll go down here to level 1 and we'll do the bonus a little bit later. So here, how many apples are in each row? And note we're working with emojis, and each emoji consists of 2 characters. So alright, so let's type that there, and then we'll work this, len, use the len function. Alright, that gives us 32, but we need to divide by 2. So just divide by 2 there. Alright, that looks good. Just copy that down. Okay, so that's our level 1. Let's go down to level 2. Okay, we've got some apples that are bad. They have worms in them. How many good apples before we find an apple with a worm in it? And here we've got the emojis again. All right, so 6 there. Okay, so we'll use the search function, and we're going to find that worm emoji. I need to lock that in actually, so I'm going to make sure I put F4 on that, and looking for it right there. Okay, so we get 13. All right, so that 13, it would be the first character in that worm emoji. So we need to subtract 1 and divide by 2. So let's see here. Okay, subtract 1, divide by 2. Oh, I forgot to hit the 2 on that. Okay, divide by 2. All right. There we go. And we'll go down here and copy that in. Okay, and we're getting some value errors. That occurs in the cases where there are no worms, so we'll need to go back and edit this. So let's throw in an IFERROR to handle those value errors. And notice it says that each group has 40 apples in it. So for if error, we'll have a 40 for the result if none is found. And I think I left off the parenthesis. I sure did. Okay, let's copy that down again. All right, so there's level 2. All right, level 3. So in this case, we're counting the number of apples based on the pecks and bushels in each harvest. So 36 apples in each peck, which is a little chicken, and then a bushel contains 4 pecks. That's a little basket. We'll do this in a separate worksheet to have more room to work. All right, a little bit bigger. Okay, so game. This is example 3. I'm doing X lookup. Look up the game, and that's in column B. And return column G. We'll just change that to the G there. Okay. All right, so there's our basket. And let's go over here. Also, let's copy this for our use. Let's copy that down here. All right, so let's pull out the pecks and the bushels. Maybe I'll just do it right here. Okay. So how to do that? Well, one way to do it would be to use the substitute function. All right, and there's our text. And the old text that we're pulling out, let's see, we want to get rid of the bushels in this case. And return with nothing. Let's see if that works okay. All right, that gives us that. And then I'll just do a okay, just edit that. Okay. All right. And now let's count each. I guess I can do that right here. So len and divide by 2, right? Okay, so there's 14 pecks. And I should just be able to copy that down. 39 bushels. And in terms of how many in each, so a peck has 36 apples, and a bushel has 36 times 4. All right. And so now we'll just add, just multiply those together. So this will be our Lev 3 answer. We'll use SUMPRODUCT to multiply those two values by the second values. And we get 6120. Let's make sure that that looks good. 6120. All right. And then we'll use data table here. So game and answer. And the answer, of course, is right there. And our game start, we'll use the sequence to fill that in. All right, so there's 20 levels, or not levels, 20 games. One column, start with 41, I believe. All right, so we're going to use the data table feature to work through all those. So we'll go to here, data, what if analysis, data table, and column input, and we're plugging in these values up here in E7. All right, so there's our results. Let's copy that, and then we'll paste just as values. All right, and that looks good. So that's level 3. Level 3. Let's go down to level 4. All right, here we're talking about how many batches he can make. Each batch yields 25 servings. All right. So we need to pull out the bushels and the pecks here. We'll do this here. So bushels, pecks. Okay, and I'm looking at the bushels. That's always the first two numbers, so we can just do a left function on that. Return 2. All right. Okay. And let's go ahead and change that. So that's going to be a text value. So I'll just throw in a value on that to change it to a number. All right. And now for the pecks, a little bit more work to get out of here. We'll use a text after and then a text before. So text after. Okay, we're working with that. And a delimiter always precedes a plus and a space. So I'll do double quote plus space. Okay. All right. And then we'll pull out the 14 from that with the text before. All right. And our delimiter here is going to be comma, and I'll just do a PE there. Don't have to do the whole thing. Okay, and again, let's put a value in front of that to change it. Okay. All right, so that's what we have in terms of bushels and pecks. And yeah, from earlier, well, let's put it right here. So bushels has 4 times 36 in terms of number of apples, and pecks has 36. All right, so how many apples in total? Oh, what happened there? There we go. Okay, so apples. All right, so we'll do the sum product again, and we're going to multiply those two by these two up here. We need to lock those in. Okay, so there's how many apples, and each batch calls for 10. Okay, so we'll divide by 10. All right, and we need to round that. Okay, so we'll do the round down. So I'll just do an int to round that down, and then multiply by what, 25, right? Okay, so 175, that looks good. Let me make this a little bigger here. Okay. All right. And now we can just copy that down, I believe. Okay. those. And let's look, yeah, 14,750, 22,850. All right, so that looks good. So that's level 4. Let's go down to level 5. So we're getting a little more difficult here as we go. All right, so here we're shipping orders to customers in Excel state. We've got a map to look at. And right angle Rick only moves vertically and horizontally. Okay, so it looks like Harry's in K20, but let's look at this here. So there's Harry's location, and here's the customers. We can see how they're laid out. Let's go ahead and give this a named area to work with. Okay. All right, and I'll just type here, we'll call this C map. Okay. All right, so we need to first figure out where these folks are. And we'll do the row and column. Okay, so here's one way to do this. So we'll use the concat, throw in an if, and use our C map. That's the name of that map that we just gave it. Does it equal? So we got the customer numbers. Each one starts with CUST. So CUST and ampersand, not an equal, ampersand C18. If that's true, we want to get back the row for C map. All right, and if not, if it's false, we don't get back anything. Close that off. Okay, so row 37, let's see here, customer yield is, all right, so we're good there, that worked, and we'll just copy that and edit it for the column. All right, so just change that to column. Okay, it's row 20, okay, let's give you column 20, and now let's put in information for Harry. All right, and again, row column, and let's see, he's in K20, so the row's 20, and the column we can do easily enough with the indirect. Okay, oh, actually I need to do column, and then the indirect, and I'll just type in K20 there in quotes. Okay, all right, so that's the 11th column. And it's a little easier to read here. All right, so what's the total distance? How many cells different? And then we'll multiply it by 5. So the distance. Okay, we'll take the absolute difference between the row and then the column. I need to lock in that value for Harry. And then we'll do ABS for the column. All right, minus that. Lock that in for Harry. And let's look and see if this is okay. So that'd be 17 plus 9. The difference there, we get 26. And then multiply that by 5. So I'll just do that up here. It's 5 miles per cell. All right, so there's our 130. And we should be able to copy this down. Okay, and here's our answers, which I'll just paste over here as values. All right, let's see. Okay, 80, 55, 145. Okay, that's within the bounds. I think we're good there. Okay, all right, so that's level 5. Let's go down to level 6. All right, so here we're again delivering, but with a different carrier. Carolyn Crow uses drones to fly the shortest distance between any 2 points. All right, so similar to what we just did before. Okay, so let's go up here and just copy some of this stuff. I guess I can copy maybe this. All right, let's see if I copy in the right place. Yeah, okay. All right, so we're still going from Harry. All right, and we got the same customers there. I'm not sure if they're the same order or not, but didn't notice that. So our distance in this case, let's see, we'll need to get the row diff and the column diff on this, because we're going to use the quadratic formula to get the, so I'll do row diff and then column diff. Column diff. Okay. All right, so absolute value. All right, lock in value for Harry. Okay, and let's go ahead and multiply that by 5. Okay, so there's our 85. All right, and similarly, I just hit yes. Okay, take the absolute difference between the columns and lock that in, and multiply that by 5. That should give us the 45, and it does. All right, and then over here we'll do the distance using that quadratic. So we need to square this one plus square the column difference, and then take the square root of 5. Okay. Okay, so there's our 96.17, etc. We want to, that needs to be rounded to the nearest mile, so we'll throw a round on this. Okay. All right, there's our 96, so we're good there. And now we can just copy this down. All right, copy those answers over here. Okay, and it looks like we're good there based on our check numbers. Okay, so that's the level 6. Let's go to level 7. Okay, here, ship with either one of those. It is Rick or Caroline. And Rick charges $2.50 per mile. So, okay, so let's go down here. We'll do Rick first. Okay, so Rick distance, and we've already got those values. So we'll do an X lookup for the customer. Lookup arrays, that's going to be the level 5, I think, for Rick. Yes. Okay, so we're going to look here. Oop, no, I went way too far. Okay, level 5. We'll just hold down the shift key. Okay. All right, so that's what we're looking up. And we get back these values. All right. I need to be locking some stuff in here. So I need to lock that in. And I need to lock that in. Okay, so there's our 130. And so again, for Rick, it's would be just 250 times that. So Rick cost equals that times 250. Okay, and does that need to be rounded? Okay, yeah, round to the nearest dollar. So let's round that. Okay, so that's Rick, and then we'll do Carolyn. Distance. All right, so we'll use an X lookup again. I'll just build. I just about as quick to build it again. So there, and that's going to be the prior level. Okay, lock those in, and then get back this here. Okay. Okay, so that's the distance. Now a little more complicated in terms of her charge, her cost. Okay, Oop, I'm having trouble typing. All right, so let's look and see what we got for her in terms of cost. She can carry 25 servings per trip, cost of $50 per trip. All right, so we're going to have to figure out the number of trips at $50 each, and then $1.05 for each customer orders. That's a one-time charge. So let's figure the trips first. All right, so we'll take the servings, divide that by 2,500. Okay, and we need to round that up. Okay, so round up. Okay, that gives us the 3. Multiply that by 50. And then we need to do the mileage times 1, let's see, what is it, 105? 105, okay. And we need to round that. All right, so let's round that whole thing to the nearest dollar. Okay, and we get the 251. All right, so the answer is going to be the minimum of those two. So I'll just actually do that right here. Equals the min of Rick's cost and Carolyn's cost. All right, I need to copy this down. Okay, and then copy this down. All right, let's look at our answers. So that looks good. 173, 188. Okay, all right, so there's level 7. All right, now let's go back and look at the bonuses. Go back all the way back up here. So bonus 1. Okay, each peck, make this just a little bit smaller. Each peck contains 36 apples. Level 1, okay, how many bushels? All right, so level 1, we've got the number of apples, right? Okay, so we can sum those up first. So I'll just sum them up. Okay, we exclude the example. All right, so 810 apples, and then how many bushels do we have? Okay, all right, so if we recall, let's see, there's 36 times 4, I think it's 144 in a bushel. And we need to round that. Okay, in fact, I need to round it down, so I'll just use the int to round that down. Okay. All right, so it turns out we actually have 5 bushels, 5 bushels. Okay, bonus 2, how many worms are there in level 2? Level 2, okay. All right, so level 2 here. All right, so let's count the number. We'll do this on the side here. Count the number of worms. Okay, so one way to do that would be to do the ln of this. Get it all the way over there. Minus the substitute. That. We'll take out all the worms and lock that in. All right. Oh, I need to put a ln in front of that. Okay. Up here to form the bar. All right. And I left out something or another. Oh, let's see. That in there. Okay. So we can see that there's 2. All right, so recall that that's 4 characters. It's taken up with the worm emoji. We need to divide that by 2. So go up here and divide that by 2. All right. Okay, and in total, we have what here? 44. Okay. Okay, bonus 3. Bonus 3, let me save this right quick. And here we're looking at level 4. Combines leftover apples and 4. How many batches can Harry make? So let's go down to level 4. Level 4. Okay, now we need to get the number of leftovers. Okay. Leftovers. All right, so here was the sum product. It gave us the number of apples. So let's just pull that there. We'll just copy that out of there. Paste it here. Okay, so that's the number of apples, and we're looking at anything that's after dividing by 10 that's left over. A quick way to do that, one way to do that is use the mod function. So mod, okay, and we're going to divide the number of apples by 10, and the mod function will return the remainder. So there's 2 left over there. Okay, we'll do that down through here. All right. And I need to exclude the example there, but here we can see, I'll go down here. We'll sum that. Okay, so there's 76. Divide that by 10, we get 7. So our answer is 7. Okay, so I'll just go up here and just type that in. All right, so bonus 4. Suppose right angle here travels to Harry customers 1 through 20. Notice this 1 through 20. Skipping over customer 0, then returns to Harry. What's his total distance traveled in number of miles? So let's do this in a separate worksheet. Okay, so I'll just add a new worksheet. Right, so this is going to be our bonus 4. Okay, and let me think about this a minute. Okay, so we got Harry. Okay, now he's in K20. All right, and then we got customers. I'll just do a sequence here. All right, we've got 20 customers, 1 through 20, and we want to pull again their locations. And all right, so let's put some labels here. So row, column, and then we'll do, what happened to my, there we go, distance. Okay, and here I'll just type in that 20. That's 11, I believe, but let me just be sure about that. We'll do the column thing again, and indirect, that. Okay, and we've already got these values for the different customers from one of the levels. So let's just do an XLOOKUP on that, and go over here to the case. I think it's level 5, so let's find level 5. All right, so we're going to look up the customer number. Okay, let's lock that in and get back the row and column. Lock that in. Okay, and then just copy that down. Now we do, and we return to Harry, so let's go down here and we'll just copy this here, because at the very end they're going to return. All right, so distance, that's that. Take the absolute difference between the rows, and we don't need to lock up anything there, plus the absolute distance in the column. Okay. All right, I guess I'll go ahead and multiply that by 5. All right, and we just pull that down. Okay, let's see what we've got for a sum. $22.50. All right, so that's bonus number 4, $22.50. Okay, last one. Last one here. Karen returns to after every route. How many miles does she fly to make all her deliveries in level 7? So it's just her deliveries in level 7. How many miles? Okay. All right. So let's go down here. Okay. And first let's do Caroline or not. Let's do Caroline question. Okay, it's going to be the case if this value equals the min. So if this equals that, it's 1, otherwise 0. All right, copy that down through here. Okay, and we've got the distance, but there's actually the number of trips too, so we need to pull out the trips. I'll figure the trips. All right, and let's see, that should be over here. Okay, that's this part right here. So we'll just copy that. Get our number of trips. Oh, I need to put an equal sign in front of that. Okay, now that's 3 trips, right, from earlier. We can see that up here. Okay, so we will copy that down. All right, and we'll do our calculation here. So we're going to multiply the 1 zeros here times the number of trips times the distance, and then we'll have to double it because going back and forth. Okay, so we'll do sum product, multiply those 3 things together. Okay, so we'll do the distance, and then that part, and then, oh, I forgot to put in a comma there. Okay. And then multiply that by 2. So we get 4062. 4062. Okay, so we'll plug that back in up here. And there we go. So thank you for your interest and patience. You'll probably find some quicker ways to do this yourself. But again, appreciate your time and interest.